Danny, don't you always feel bad when you have to use a, a, a packet of travel tissues or pocket
Well,
tissues and take them out the little.
I don't buy packets of tissues.
What? Why not?
I just use normal tissues and run and roll.
Yeah, but I take them out and put them in my pocket when I go cycling.
Yeah, and I keep that for the whole day. I don't need like another packet. I don't tend to blow my nose that often.
Right.
Also, where
Yeah.
I'm normally at, there's normally a toilet with a toilet roll there. So there's always a toilet roll somewhere. That's my philosophy anyway.
Not when you're on a bicycle in the middle of a
Yeah, yeah,
field,
but I always bring a tissue with me.
like a packet of tissues.
No, like someone for toilet roll. I just put it in my pocket. Beginning of the day.
Just one tissue.
No, I usually do three, like three connected, and I fold it up.
Well, there it is.
That's my
Ladies and
strategy.
gentlemen, there it is. Harmony's Odyssey, Tony. Tangerine.
Tangerine.
On Tangerine, next first, our final category, which is puzzle games. So we're starting off with a game called Harmony's Odyssey, which is basically a 3D find the difference matching game.
Right.
Yeah, that's sort of what it is.
I feel like I'm just saying, like from the sub, like, I expect you to like move around as the character.
No, it's very much just like a puzzle game. I'm having to spot the difference here, and I went insane doing this until I figured out you could drag the camera around to find more stuff to spot the difference between, and I was like, oh, this isn't a Dark Souls boss, this is actually doable. I just thought it was meant to be like really hard to spot the difference. I was like, this leaf is a slightly different shade to this leaf. And then I was like, oh wait, you can turn the camera around. I just completely missed that. That's so annoying.
Right.
Yeah.
I guess it's one of the times where it's like you actually want it to say like use these obviously basic buttons to tell you what the basic controls are.
Because you have a life system. If you click the wrong thing too many times, you start getting, and then it's set up so the spot the difference is procedurally generated, so it's different every time. Or it's not. I don't know if it's procedurally generated. It's randomized. So you can't just learn the solutions.
Quite clever.
Yep.
But the boss, the technique to this boss is move the camera. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, the final boss of Harmony's Odyssey is realizing you can move the camera and spot the difference.
Right.
I think this game like looks pretty cool, and then also like the gameplay itself is actually kind of fun. Because it's half like this sort of stuff, and then the other half is like block moving in order to match the blocks.
Yeah, from what I saw, like I think I much prefer like this sort of puzzle stuff. I thought was really cool. I really like this stuff.
Yeah, it's sort of like you just have to keep moving stuff until it's supposed to be in the exact space it's supposed to be in.
You've got in this one you clues like the trailing has to like match up, right? And you got like the border, and then
would you play something?
I guess as well like I guess there's the story of like because like what's the big like that's a, like 3-headed puppy dog. What's going on there? Like are you trying to like trap him in?
Yeah.
The
so I think the idea is you're trying to get to the cat while also trapping the dog, I think is what you're doing.
Yeah. Why are you trying to do this? Like, are your cats escaped?
If there was a story, I don't fucking know.
Okay.
I was just playing a weird puzzle game.
Right.
I think it can be fun. Like it's what seems pretty well designed. Like in terms of actual mechanics. Like the art style's pretty good. I just think it's the sort of thing where I play it for a bit and then I'm like, okay, I get the game. I'm done now.
Really?
Well, I mean, it's not something I would just sit and play for hours. I mean,
I definitely could. From looking at this stuff, like I definitely could just like keep just play like idly almost, like just seems like a fun puzzles to do. I mean, it's the difference, but this sort of stuff is really cool.
Well, if you're interested in Harmony's Odyssey, Tony, the demo is still available, and you can play it
Yeah.
right now. So maybe check this one
It's
out
not.
when it
Is it?
comes
It's
out.
not. It's not released yet, is it?
No, it doesn't have a release date. The planned
Release
release
date-
date is when the owl
Wait, what?
grows.
What does that mean?
They Steam. I think in the past couple of years, Steam let you put your own custom release date on it, and people just
Yeah.
keep putting fucking random shit in there now.
When you don't have like an exact date, you just put your own thing in. Yeah. Because
Yeah.
people like originally was like when it's ready, and then that now people being more creative. It's just a bit annoying. I just want to know when you're planning to release it. I just want
This is what it was
a
supposed.
number.
We'll show you what it was
Wait, you're
supposed to
gonna
look like.
spoil the solution.
It's a puzzle game. How do you show gameplay of a puzzle game otherwise?
Just don't show the ending.
Guys, it was supposed to look like this.
Close your eyes, spoilers.
I think stuff like this is more fun to me when it's like, oh, it's clear. I need to just match up the pool pieces. I prefer the more simplistic ones, but then it does start to get a bit more complicated with like these town ones where there's certain blocks you can't move and you have to build around them.
Yeah, I like the more complicated ones because like you learn the small details of like how they connect. I quite like that.
But I think it's definitely a game worth checking out. It was pretty fun for what it was, so yeah, check that one out.
Yeah.
And then next up we have Lego Bricktales. This is a game that I was like, I don't think I played the demo for this, and you were like, oh, there's a demo for this game, and I was like, okay, I'll play that.
Oh, so you weren't planning on playing it until I said, okay.
No,
okay,
no.
I didn't realise that.
No, it wasn't. I wasn't planning on playing it. I literally forgot it existed.
Yeah.
And I didn't know there was a demo for it.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, wait, I remember seeing the demo for this. It's a more like physics-based Lego puzzle game. Why don't I try this out? It actually looks pretty good. I mean, for what it is, it looks like the lighting and stuff looks pretty good. It's so hard to go back to looking at Lego after Lego Builder Journey's Ray Trace Lego.
I still think it looks good, but yeah, I guess after ray tracing that is so good.
They did an admirable job, but just how good the fucking Lego Builder's Journey Lego looks. It's a shame that not all Lego looks like that in the Lego games.
One day, when ray tracing is widespread, when your phones can ray trace, Joe, that's when we.
Don't you guys have ray traced phones? Well, I assume eventually we're going to have VR headsets that can do ray tracing, and essentially VR headsets are sort of like phones you strap to your face. So, essentially, we'll have phones with ray tracing eventually. Wasn't there like someone was saying you could have ray tracing on a phone, like in the news? You can do ray tracing on the Steam Deck technically, I think.
You can technically because it's technically RDNA too. I think wasn't it like an Asus like gaming phone technically had ray tracing on it, or was it a different phone? I can't remember.
I don't know. I think it was a Samsung. We got
Samsung.
We got Samsung's Exynos 2200 brings ray tracing to phones.
Right.
Yeah, there it is, guys. Ray tracing on phones. Anyway,
I feel like we're a few years off from that. I feel like 4 years from now, like ray tracing would be more ubiquitous.
Yeah. So the core gameplay loop of this one is you have like a obstacle. So it's like, oh, I need to go up these stairs, and then you need to build the stairs. You can build them however you want to, really, but they still have to function as stairs. I immediately skipped the learn step and said, "Fuck this! I'm going straight into building."
I mean, you've done Lego before.
I've used Lego before. I think placing the pieces down didn't feel as clunky as it did in Lego Builder's Journey, but it still didn't feel great. I feel like it's so hard to get the feeling of like putting Lego down and making it feel good in a video game. I don't think I've seen it done well yet.
Because you're basically placing blocks in 3D from like a non-first-person perspective. It's very difficult.
Yeah, because you don't have that like haptic feedback you would have if you were placing actual Lego blocks and they were like clicking into place. It just doesn't feel that good.
This is a problem with like all. I was gonna say just Lego, but no, I think the problem with all building games where like you're not in first person. Like, I think it genuinely is like that's just a problem. It's hard to solve.
I guess you could say they're built differently.
Yeah. My other issue is like I like the idea of this game is like, but why aren't you building in the world? I get it's like a big blueprint, but like I feel like would it make sense, especially considering what the game's about? Like considering that you have these obstacles and you need like build a bridge across like a place, like build some stairs. Like, wouldn't it be great so you could actually have some context of what the hell you're connecting? Like, it just feels odd to me. Like you're then like get pushed into this world and not the rest of the world. Like I feel like as well, like considering how quickly you're like going between like the blueprint world and the real world, like I feel like the real world must still be loaded in.
You're saying you want more Passepartout 2, where you get to experience the world as you go along?
As you're building, I want inspiration.
Somebody said it's a travesty that Passepartout 2 is not just called Passepartout.
Oh, that would have been good. But people already mispronounce it. Like, you can just pronounce it.
Well, the thing is, Tony, I probably mispronounce it. I'm just assuming how I pronounce it is the right way.
I'm pretty sure I swear I've seen someone correctly pronounce. I don't know. I swear I've seen journalism correctly.
So, like, Bridget, Tony, it's Lego Polybridge.
Yeah. Okay. That was my other problem.
Yeah.
If this was a Lego Polybridge, there needs to be more physics involved with like things collapsing. I think that's a really cool idea. Like, because in real life, you actually have to contend with like, oh, have I built? Is it what I've built? Is it strong enough to actually like hold together?
Yeah.
And I thought that's an actual concern. Whereas this is like, oh, as long as it's connected to something, it'll just hover. Like,
it's a lot more physics based than like Lego Builder's Journey, for example. And I think there is some genuine physics in there, like especially when you build stuff like the helicopter and stuff like that.
Yeah, the helicopter was definitely like way more like physics based, but like it's still not like physical Lego like limitations sort of thing. I didn't feel like you weren't concerned like the whole thing like collapsing again on itself. Like it had to then give like extra support, which is like I feel like if you're going for, I feel like that would have made it more interesting in my opinion.
Yeah, but
this is clunky.
Yeah, I found it really hard.
Shadow on the objects.
I found it really hard to add these pipes into the pipe system. Again, playing through it just didn't feel that great, sort of thing.
Because I feel like here the shadows should be helping you, but actually making you place it in the wrong place. So.
I like how, like in Polybridge, I can just make like really janky solutions to problems. It's not just like there is one solution. You can just build your own solution, which I like. There are some challenging ones, whereas in Lego Builder's Journey, it was a lot more forgiving, where it would just keep sending you pieces if you didn't get it immediately. But like, I know I got stuck on this one for a while, where I had to specifically build a set of stairs as like it was like as a spiral staircase, right?
So this is like my other thing with like why like it'd be better to like build it in the real world, because like why is that box? Because you can see a box there. That's like you can't build outside of that box. Like presumably that's because in the real world you can't build there, but like you have no context of why, and it just feels arbitrary when you're in here.
Real world is in.
Like, why can't you build it out?
Real world is in the Lego world that you exist in.
Yes, well that is the real world. That's
okay. Well, there it is. It's the real world for Tony, because he's got desks full of Lego in his room.
Yeah, I'm just surrounded with Lego.
Yeah. Yeah, I think this one was genuinely fun. I'd be interested in playing it again. I think it's a cool game. It's a cool Lego game.
Yeah.
I like that they have the physics simulation, and I'm interested to see more of where this goes.
I just feel like I just wish I had more. I just feel like it could be like a really, really good game. I just feel like it's just a good game.
Yeah, but the demo's still up, so I'd recommend checking out Lego Bricktales. Next puzzle game we have is oh, I've got more gameplay here. Oh, I spent ages decorating my bridge, and it was like, this bridge is now invalid because you spent too long decorating it. Or it's like, you decorate it incorrectly. Oh, you remember this? You remember I made like this really janky solution to supporting this bridge?
Yeah, okay, this is what I'm saying. Like, when the physics isn't quite right, this would not work in like if this was real Lego. Like, I just feel like
Tony, this is perfectly structurally. This is perfectly structurally sound.
Yeah, let's look at the solution, then I can complain.
No, this is structurally sound, Tony. It is structurally sound.
No. There should be like angled and shearing forces, and like I just feel like that should be simulated. Not like super accurately. I just feel like there should be forces like just like cartoony but logical forces. I don't know. I'm curious to see what the other puzzles are going to be, but I feel like what we saw was I like the helicopter. The helicopter the helicopter one is like by far like the best puzzle.
Yeah.
Because you can build anything you want, but you just have to make sure it flies straight.
Yeah. It needs to get to a certain height, and then it needs to stay in that height for a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and not just fly off forward like a lunatic.
I was like, the whole time I was like, I've got to make sure that this works and flies correctly, but I also need to make sure I put like random plants and shit on it so it looks cool.
Yeah.
I was like, I have to get the flight right with the plant on it.
I mean, the plant made it on this one.
Because I like, as soon as you build a machine, it just exists in the physical world, as
Yeah,
you're calling it, the
that's
Lego
cool.
world.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The non-blueprint world, the real Lego world.
Next up, we have a game called Backfire Wall. And this is one of those comedy narrative walking simulation games. The best way to describe it is it's sort of on the same vein as like the Stanley Parable or a Daniel Mullins game. It's sort of more about. It's a first-person game where the idea is you've been sent to update the OS, and the OS does not want to be updated. That's the idea of the game. And
well, both you and the operating system, or both you and the OS will be killed. So you're trying your best to not have it happen.
Anyone?
I played this game. I thought it was really cool. Definitely recommend it. I think I saw the trailer at one of the Summer Jeff Fest cons, and basically, I think it was the PC gaming show. They showed like a trailer for the game, but it was so small you couldn't see it on purpose, and that was intriguing enough for me to look up the actual like trailer and game itself to go, oh, it's about an OS that doesn't want to be updated, and it doesn't want to be updated so much it doesn't want to show you the trailer. I was like, that's pretty funny in like a narrative sense. So that means that if it's a narrative-driven game, it would probably be pretty interesting to try out. Yeah. I think the actual narration and stuff like that, it holds up. The mechanics turn into like a very it's very much like a puzzle based game, I would say. In terms you're just sort of going, it's less like in the Stanley Parable, you're more just trying to figure out how to break the games in interesting ways, whereas
you're trying to find endings basically.
Backfire Wall is much more of a puzzle game where you're trying to complete certain objectives in order to help the old OS not get deleted. But yeah, I think this is a genuinely interesting one, and it's got some great little puzzle design and mechanics. And I can't go too much into this one without just explaining how all the puzzles work. So if this looks like something that might interest you, it's like a narrative-driven, like a comedy, like Stanley Parables sort of style game with puzzles in it, then check out Backfirewall _ on Steam. Yeah, on to the next one.
I don't know, it's not like
I can already hear Tony talking. Figment 2, Creed Valley. Is an action-adventure game set in the human mind. Join Dusty, the mind's courage, as you make your way through puzzles, musical boss fights, and unique environments. Some of these I already talked about, because I said... We talked about them briefly because we saw the trailers for them at E3, and I'd already played some of the demos for them already at that point. And this was one of them where I said, check out Tangerine, because I'll talk about it some more.
Yeah.
So I think with Figment Valley, again, I love the art style. I think it's a gorgeous looking game. I also think like the gameplay's pretty interesting. Like it's got like boss fights. I really like the soundtrack, and the characters are almost like the bosses are like singing in the soundtrack and stuff like that. It makes it really interesting. I just found some of the puzzles I didn't like that much. I think like the platforming puzzle I was doing later on. I'll see if I can find it. But the boss fights are really cool. I thought that they were like really fun and genius. Like you would usually have to get to an area and then use the mechanics you've been doing around the world in order to light up light sockets to shine a light on the shadow elements in order to defeat the boss.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, that's cool. Like it's taking stuff it's been teaching you throughout the game, these puzzle elements, and it's then turning into like a combat mechanic. And I'm like, that's really good game design.
I like how you just like made him really small and just killed him really easily.
This was the puzzle where I was
This
like,
one,
yeah, this was the one where I was like,
because
oh,
I was here helping, like, and it was really starting to confuse me, like
yeah.
what you were supposed to do. I feel like once I knew like what was actually interactable and what you were supposed to do, like, oh, like, you go and do this, but like I don't know, like it kind of confused me. And I feel like you weren't liking this one at all.
No, this didn't really gel with me. This sort of puzzle
Yeah,
style. I think
it's very logic based, like very like you have to like be in the right order of operations.
the problem was as well that the demo had like a timer to it to stop you playing too much of
Yeah,
it as well. And I'm like, it's a puzzle game. I'm going to spend forever on it, like really slowly. I don't want
it's
to be
one of those
rushed
things
through
as
this thing.
well. I don't understand. Like, if you're going to make a demo, just select a couple of levels and just then stop the game. I don't understand this challenge timer thing.
I think it was just an artificial way to go, hey, we want you to play a lot of the game, but we don't want you to play too much because it's just a demo.
Yeah, I don't like it. Just 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 pick out a couple of levels.
Yeah, I think Fruit Valley, it's like the sound, the music, art design, really, really cool. A lot of the puzzle design is cool where you have to change around the lights and stuff in order to block off the shadows. I just think there's a few puzzles like this where I was like, I just didn't gel with me. I think the puzzle design can be hit or miss, but I still think overall it's definitely a game worth checking out. And
Right.
moving to our final puzzle game, we've got Headless Jeff-3. I didn't know there was a Headless Jeff 1 and 2, to be honest with you.
Was there ever a headed Jeff?
No, I think it might just be called Headless Jeff-3 because that was the name they came up with. I don't know if there's like a Headless Jeff 1 or 2. I think it's literally just called Headless Jeff-3.
Yeah.
But the idea of this game is it's a second-person game.
Does it sound like Jeffrey?
What?
It sounds like Jeffrey.
Oh, Jeff-3!
Yeah, and he's a robot, so it makes sense to put 3 in
the
there.
game's called Headless Jeff-3, not Headless Jeff-3.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it now. I was so confused. I was like, why is it called Headless Jeff-3? I haven't seen 1 or 2.
It's gonna be really more. It's gonna be even more confusing when Headless Jeff-3 2 comes out.
Headless Jeff-3 2, yeah. But they didn't do the Valve route. They just skipped straight to 3.
Yeah.
I think so. With this one, so the way basically it works is you are a headless robot, and the core gameplay mechanic is you are trying to get your body and head back together, and then to the exit. And then what happens in order to make it more interesting is you'll have to solve puzzles. You need to put boxes onto buttons in order to turn off things. You'll need to... Sometimes you'll be looking from another perspective. You'll need to look from a security camera instead of your head. Immediately I looked at this game and I was like, that's interesting, but this could be really annoying. But they actually put in a lot of mechanics where you can push a button and immediately your head will turn towards your body, or you can press a button and your body will immediately turn towards your head. Like,
that's a nice feature.
They genuinely put in a lot of time and effort into actually making it not so clunky and frustrating, and I was like, that I like, because it is genuinely a really interesting game, and the fact that they put time into making it not feel like too clunky and frustrating, I was like, yeah, that's good. You can see here I need to get my head out, but every time I take my head out, I'm taking it off the button. But in order to get it off the button, I first need to leave my head, and then put the crate on the button, and then I can walk to the exit with my head. So this is sort of like the basic like puzzle design you have for the game itself, which is pretty fun to play. And I like that you can just like pick up your head and reposition. It's almost like repositioning the camera in a way as well. I'm like, oh, that's a good idea. Yeah.
I think Scorn played this as well.
Did he?
He liked it. I think so.
Oh, cool.
I was talking about something like this. I'm pretty sure it's this game. Take your head off. I mean, the thing is, you can't tell with Scorn he plays a lot of weird games. Maybe play another game where you take your head off.
That's true. He plays What was the game you played that we were supposed to be guessing the game, and he immediately showed the menu?
I can't remember.
And we were like, wait a minute, was it called this game based on the main menu being shown? You remember Michael's mystery game?
Yeah, I remember it. It was Once Upon a Time.
Yeah, this was quite a challenging level. So you sort of got to... Your head starts on a conveyor belt, and then you have to make sure you go through like this minefield of crates falling down, so you can grab a crate and put it on the button. And then you can use that to... Do you want to place the crate on this button over there, and then you also need to have your head on the button so the body can walk through, and then you pick up your head and then go through like that.
Right.
Still puzzle. And then as here you can see like you'll then have perspectives where you won't be able to see your body from the head, so you'll have to use security camera perspectives in order to unlock the ability to move your head, and then pull the sleeves and stuff like that. Yeah, but I was surprised how much I enjoyed Headless JEFF-3. This is one I would say definitely check out. I think it was really fun. It did have that really like satisfying like Portal-like design where it was very much you understood all of the rules of what you were doing, and you were sort of in like a small lab environment, and then it was just how do you manipulate these rules in order to figure out the puzzle. And that's what I think Headless JEFF-3 did well.
I guess we should say this is another second-person game, technically.
Yeah, I think the only other one I can think of is Driver San Francisco, technically.
Yeah.
Which is... You don't see many second-person games, let's just say that.
No.
So yeah, that's the end of the Steam Next Fest. So usually at the end I'll give my favourites, so if you want to do a favourites timestamp.
Yeah.
So I think from me, I would say definitely check out Headless JEFF-3. Check out Spark the Electric Jester. Check out Passepartout 2, Turbo Golf Racing, and I don't have the Boomer Shooter one saved here. What was Angerfoot. I can scroll up and look at the timestamps. Celico, Angerfoot, and check out.
It was about 20 minutes or 10 minutes till dawn.
Rip Out. Yeah, 20 minutes till dawn. Definitely check out that one. And those are the ones where I say those are probably my favourites from the Dome Festival. So any of those I just listed off, like Trepang 2, Rip Out as well, if I mentioned that. Those are really, really good. So definitely check out the demos for those games if they're still up, or check out my coverage of those if you want to see games that really impressed me from this Dome Festival. If you want to know any games that really impressed me, just watch all of the shooter games from the shooter Tangerine video, because I love them all pretty much. So, and we'll see you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.